Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Spencer and Trina. You know, I said this yesterday, right? And I'll sit there and say this again. I feel like this is the beginning of the end for Spencer and Trina. I say that because there's already cracks in the relationship. Trina don't like the living situation that Spencer's in. There's one point where she gets frustrated and she's like, Ace isn't your son. Well, Trina, we we all know he knows that that's not his child. But the reason why he's so passionate about it, about taking care of him, is because he wants him to have a better life than he did growing up. He doesn't want Spencer to be. I mean, he doesn't want Ace to be raised by like servants, nannies, and things of that nature, like how it was with him. And I've seen that in my live stream. You know, people being like, well, Spencer should put um, Trina ahead of Ace. And I'm like, that's not how that works. It's a very complex situation. And on top of that, Spencer doesn't fully trust Esme, but he has to sit there and live close to her. You know, I said something yesterday, and when I thought about it, it didn't really make a lot of sense. And I think this is what Trina wants. Trina wants, because Trina was like, what's your living situation going to be like when Laura gets back? And the answer is Spencer's always going to be close to Esme for Ace because he doesn't trust her, and that's not what she wants to hear. Let's be very clear. She doesn't want to hear that because she doesn't trust Esme with good reason, and also you're dating somebody and you don't want that person to be living with somebody who used to date them and stuff like that. So it's a very complex situation. But they do move on to Nicholas. And Spencer's always talking about, oh, I hate Nicholas, Nicholas this, Nicholas that. And Trina, like Trina's like, yo, listen, let's get down to the root of it. Because you don't really hate him. You may dislike certain things about him. Maybe mad at the stuff he's done to you, but you don't really hate him. Spencer does admit that. And, he admits that, maybe something bad happened to him. So they're talking and everything. Portia comes in. And then Portia says something along the lines of, oh, how's Ace doing? Portia, you know damn well you don't care about Ace. You just want to say that because you know that's a problem. That whole arrangement is a problem for Trina, and you want to make sure that she knew, oh, just that you know, he's taking care of Ace with another woman, and not just any woman, Esme. You should know that's how it's going to be. Like to sit there and just really not drive a wedge, but just to remind her that that's there. Just like before, she was there dragging Spencer because of his family. Oh, he's always not there. He's always not there pulling her in some sort of danger. The hell are you talking about? And that's the thing that just really pisses me off is that you don't hold your daughter accountable for her part in it. She was the one that chose to follow Spencer into the line of danger. So why the hell are you sitting there blaming him for that? That's why I'm just like, I find it to be so irritating every time she talks about Spencer. Every time she sits there and drags Spencer, it's just like, are you kidding me? So Spencer's the big bad boogeyman, and what, Trina is just this doe-eyed little girl that doesn't really know any better? Come on, Blue. And she does admit, and maybe she only did that because Ava was there, because Ava was actually speaking highly of Spencer, and she does admit that, well, listen, I don't like it, but for whatever reason, Spencer does make Trina happy, so I just gotta be there just in case things go sideways. That's the thing about Portia, because like on that front she pisses me off, right? And on the other front, there's a level of sympathy for her as far as dealing with Curtis and feeling like she has to walk on eggshells every time she talks to him because no one should have to deal with that. And I understand that she made her mess. Um, she's made mistakes, and there is reason why Curtis resents her. But if he can't move past that, and she has to sit there and be walking on eggshells, that's just no good for anyone. You know. And when she does wind up visiting Trina, she's like, I went to the parking lot, but I couldn't go in there. I didn't feel like dealing with that level of resentment and that level of combativeness. And no one should have to. And I feel like eventually it's going to drive them apart if Curtis doesn't sit there and start giving some slack to Portia. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, and I know Curtis is, the whole wheelchair and everything like that, but like, you did wind up kissing Jordan. Let's not sit there and try to act like you're on some sort of moral high ground because you're not. Um, Gladys is losing it. She barges into the reception room and is like, "How come I can't sell Sasha stock?" Now, Maxie is sitting there trying to, with her amazing patience, trying to explain to her that there's a lawsuit, so no one can sell their stock on the deceptor. But Gladys, being the irrational POS that she is, like usual Karens are, she wants it done. She wants it done now, and she just starts talking this erratic talk. Like, can't you just get it done? Can't you just get it done faster? Can't you just do this? Can't you just do that? And they're all looking at her like, what's wrong with this chick? Now she makes some sort of lie talking about medical bills and she got to pay them off and stuff like that. But you know they're just looking at her like, yo, listen, there's nothing we can do. The lowest is going to happen. It's going to take as long as it's going to take. That's just the bottom line. So now the company is tanking. The stock is down, or our investment is down, or something that they said. The company ain't looking good. Brooklyn just has that look in the face of like guilt and shame. Which, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, the sad thing is that if she just would have sat there and told the truth, then she wouldn't have put this company in such a weak position that it's in right now. It's too late. Too late. I mean, hell, even if she does actually find a way to fix it, they're not going to forgive. They're not going to trust her. So, yeah. Now, Cody is still on this whole let me be crazy so this way I can get committed into Ferncliff. And I'm just like, you're probably just going to want to be thrown in jail. Matt comes over and he's trying to sit there and help. And he's like, yo, listen, I understand what it's like. Dominic I went through the same thing with Dominic or whatever. But he insists on just this crazy act. And Dante at this point doesn't really want to deal with him. So he sends Sam over there to sit there and try to check on him. And when Sam comes over after Mac leaves, Sam is like, all right, come on, you can cut the act at this point. This whole you trying to get committed and into Ferncliff is not going to work. And even if it did, well, getting in is one thing. Getting out is something entirely different. And so Cody's like, all right, so why don't you help me? And Sam is like, hell to the no. Hell to the no. Now, I do feel like she's probably going to want to change her mind because reasons. We'll just call it reasons because with soap operas, specifically with General Hospital, it's whatever reason. It's whatever reason that moves the storyline forward. That's what it comes down to. Now, here's the thing. As much as I like Seaton Jordan, and I do, this scene seemed completely unnecessary. You go down there, uh, um, and the way this guy was meant to trying to hit on her was just so obvious. She was like, "Oh, is that your sister? Come on, bro, really? You know damn well that's not her. You know damn well that's not his sister. Why don't you go take a break and go do something else while they talk?" But all she did was come over there to sit there and say, "Oh, Anna's house got burnt down, and you just happened to get collateral damage when it came towards the shooting." And I think Curtis like they're trying to send a message. Okay, didn't really seem like it went anywhere. It's just a reminder of you got caught in the crossfire for somebody else. Not exactly going to really lift the spirits. Now, if you found the person who did it, and maybe agree some sort of justice, some sort of closure to that. I mean, it would still suck, but just coming over here, sit there and say, "Oh, Anna's house got burnt down." Okay, yeah, that's fine. And of course, when she left, the trainer was like, "Yo, just really talking about how beautiful she was, and he's gonna sit there and try to talk to her next time, and all this other stuff." We're just like, all right, bro, we get it. She's good looking. You can relax. Now, some people may some people may feel like this scene was. Well, I thought this scene was necessary. So for the past 3 days, right, or the past 2 days, there's been scenes and these episodes just seem like they either came out of nowhere or just kind of pointless and just kind of somewhat dumb. Or I just really didn't like the scene with Wyatt and Jake and Gregory trying to give him some sort of life lesson. I gave two ish about it. The scene yesterday with Felicia and Stella and all the other stuff, I didn't care. I really didn't care. And this scene was kind of important because it is going into Curtis's storyline when he did meet the guy with the prosthetic legs and stuff like that. Just pretty much telling him like, don't try to compare your progress to other people and know your body's limits. So I thought that was in some ways it almost seemed like it was kind of out of pocket to some extent, but it did make sense because it is going with his storyline. So like I guess I allowed it like it made sense. Now a scene that was, I mean, honest, kind of dumb and unnecessary to some extent was the scene with Sonny and Carly talking about, oh well, did you see Austin? What was your thoughts and stuff like that? What was you doing? Like Carly was just a visitor sitting there seeing Drew. All she saw was um Austin coming in with his medical bag. That was it. I mean, was it really necessary? Was it really necessary to have a face to face about what you saw at Austin? Talking about book and decks, just more updates. Didn't really move anything along. I guess the only thing that did come from that saying if you're a Carly and Sunny fan, then it's nice to sit there and see those two together. But other than that, it didn't really seem like it did anything. Same with Valentine and Dante. Valentine and Dante. Couple little takeaways. When Charlotte came down and she was talking about how much she missed Lulu, and Valentine was sitting there talking to Dante like, "Yo, listen, next time you go to sit there and see Lulu, let me know because it seems like it's upsetting her." And Dante was like, "Well, Lulu's her mom, so anytime that she wants to go, I'm gonna sit there and take her, and I'm not gonna ask you permission for it." I don't know. I feel like that was I felt like it was rather rude because I know if the roles were reversed and Valentine took Dante, or took Rocco to go and see, I don't know, anyone without his permission, or at least sit there and say, hey, give me a heads up. And Valentine's like, yo, listen, I'm gonna sit there and do it, and I'm not gonna tell you about it. It's like, okay, Charlotte is Lulu's daughter. She's not your daughter. You know, you need to sit there and know your place. And he wasn't, Valentine didn't come at him sideways or anything like that. Like, oh, why'd you go and do this, that, and that, and the third? He was like, yo, listen, just let me know because it, clearly upsets her. So I felt like that stance was just like, bro, you can take it down a notch. You know, he did start to question Valentine, about his business's ELQ and stuff like that. And it was like you're asking questions like, "Oh yeah, so was that emergency really crazy at ELQ and stuff like that?" It's like you already know that he's lying. You know he was lying before when he told you that story. So why are you questioning him again for it? It didn't seem like it really went anywhere. And then when Charlotte came downstairs, it was like, was that line of questioning just to extend the time until Charlotte came downstairs so they can have their talk? Because it just seemed unnecessary. Really did. Also, I also touched you. I also forgot about the text that because there was one point where Trina and Spencer was there talking about their parents and everything, and talking about Nicholas and stuff. They're vibing, just having a good time. And then Esme texts them about what time is he coming home for dinner, and you can sit there and see the look of annoyance with Trina. But the thing is, she's going to be a fixed point in Spencer's life. That's just the bottom line. Their living situation is not going to change for a very. Their living situation is not going to change until Spencer can sit there and trust Esme, um, with Ace, not living together. So it's one of those things where it's like she's either going to have to sit there and get used to that idea and just go with the flow, or there's definitely going to be trouble in paradise. Like if she's getting upset over a text, imagine something actually happened, or she's been so I don't want to sit there and say overreactive, but just very hyper conscious about everything that goes on with Ace. That she comes over there, it's like, hey, Ace is not there doing this, I need your help or whatever. She's going to start to flip out, and that's going to cause problems between those two because, in a lot of ways, and just sounds off, I do feel bad for Spencer. He is in a very tough position. He wants to then please Trina and be there for Trina, but also be a good brother and watch out for Esme and try to keep some sort of, harmony between the two. Yeah, I remember I was just saying, um, maybe about like a month ago, when Spencer was there treating Esme like dirt, it's like, bro, listen, you don't have to like her, but you can be cordial. Kids do pick up on that, and she's not going anywhere. Stop making more of a headache for yourself. You don't have to sit there and be besties or be boyfriend and girlfriend, but you could be cordial. But now it's like if he's too cordial with her, then she's going to be upset. Then Trina's going to be upset. So it's a really terrible position that he's in, and I don't envy it at all. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't think of anything else that wound up happening. Now, if I missed anything, you know what to do. Come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows, YNR, Days, BNB, and of course GH. And if you're not a member, you definitely want to sit there and join it as well. Certain exclusive videos that I only do for members, perspectives that I'll sit there and do about certain characters, and just personal things that's going on in my head that I want to sit there and share with people. I do that in the members only. So if you're not a member, hit the join button below and become one. Um, Yeah, with that being said, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.